Hey guys, what's up? Chris Udemy here. Today we're going to be looking at the main solo from Victim by Avenged Sevenfold. Let's take a look. Okay guys, so interestingly enough, this song, Avenged Sevenfold, are not in drop D tuning. Now I learned it in C, drop C. You could probably learn it in D standard, but I'm very, very sure on that intro, there's definitely an open D on that high E string. So for the purposes of this lesson, you won't be learning the 6th string, but what the hell will tune to drop C, which is C, G, C, F, A, D. So get yourself in tune and we'll get started. Alright guys, let's have a look at the first section. We're going to start off with this bend from 12 of the first string upper semitone. Then I'm going to hit it again at the top. I'm going to hit it a third time and bring that bend down. At the end of that, I'm going to move across to 13 of the first string and then play 13-10 on the second. So you notice that I'm starting on my ring finger, then I go to the pinky, and there's a bit of a crossover when I change strings. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I work into this phrase. So what I'm doing here is I'm doing a bend from 13 of the second string, and then whilst that's up, I want to sustain that and have the first string with that 13th fret ringing as well. So I'm bending with the ring finger and the pinky slips in underneath that. So I'm playing them separately, but I'm going to hit them as a chord when I'm releasing that bend. At the end of that sort of, I guess I'd call it a double stop bend idea, I'm pulling down and releasing to 10th fret on the second string. At the end of that, I've got an up and down whole step bend. When I return to the rest position, I'm adding a bit of sexy vibrato. So let's have a look at what we've got thus far. Hopefully that's making sense. I know it's my catchphrase, I say it all the time. Then I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I've got sort of a double pulsed bend from 12 of the third string. So I'm going up and down, then I pull off to 10, and then jump to 12 of the fourth string. Now I'm going to resolve that phrase on 10 of the third string. I do a very, very similar phrase. I've got a pull off from 12 to 10 on the third string, and then I do a bend in and out into that pull off. So it goes. So you see the second half of that phrase is the same, I'm just not doing 2 pulses on that 12th fret bend. So this is what we should have all up of that most recent chunk. Still ending on that 10th fret vibrato on both of them. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far and then we'll add the last chunk to it. Okay, last chunk, it gets a little bit slidey. I'm going to do a grace note slide from 10 to 13 on the second string, and then hit it when I get there. Then I've got to slide from 11 to 18. My best advice with a situation like this is don't follow your hand on the slide. Look at the 11 so that you know that where you're starting. But you're more likely to hit that 18th fret if you're just sort of looking where you need to be, as opposed to trying to follow your sliding finger there. It will go a lot slower or you might miss it. So just having that focal point will make a slide that adventurous a little bit more accurate. Altogether, we've got this phrase at the end of this. Once again, we've got this sort of Angus Young / gag going on with the bending note and the sustained note underneath. With this, I'm bending 20 of the second string, playing 20 of the string underneath on the first string, and then I want to release that second string bend. I'm not actually doing any of those notes together. It's all single notes. At the end of that, I'm going to bring the bend down. You'll notice that I'm pulling off from my ring to my middle finger to the 18 because I need to end on that 17. If I do this, got this kind of clumsy jump where I have to use the pointer finger twice. So if you can, try and stick to the fingering that I'm using here. And that is all of the first section. Let's have a look at what we've got thus far, nice and slow, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, so before we move on, I just wanted to mention that the first section was a not particularly eventful 8 bars, but the second and the third, I've divided up into 2 4-bar groups just because there's a lot more content to what we're doing. So there'll only be 4 bars here. I'll show you that first phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm starting off with a pull off from 17 to 13 on the first string, and then jumping to 17 of the second string. So we've got, at the end of that, I'm going to jump back down to 17 of the first string. So you will notice that I've got 2 17s in a row. I'm alternating fingers. If you are confident doing a pinky roll, go for it. Me, not so much, just terrible at it, have a really bad time. So this is what we've got thus far. At the end of that, now I've seen people play it like this with kind of all one string. I think this, it's got more feel to it. The legato falls in a nicer spot, and you also get the tonality of the string change. I stand by it. I think it's got a nicer sound to it than sort of staying on one string. So we've got, at the end of that, I've got a hammer-on pull-off going 12, 13, 12 on the first string, 13 of the second, back down to 12 of the first. I noticed Sin kind of does a cheeky little slide out of there. So if you want to add that in, you can, and that will set you up for the next lick that follows. Hopefully that's making sense. Then I'll work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. I'm doing sort of I guess what would be in standard tuning, a D minor pentatonic. I'm obviously a whole step down. I've got a hammer-on pull-off going 10, 13, 10 on the second string. And then I want to go 12 of the third into 13 of the second. And then that resolves to 10 of the third string. So we've put both chunks back to back. It's going to sound like this. At the end of that, I work into this phrase. Let's slow that down. So I've got almost like a swept or economy picked roll here. I'm playing 10 of the second into 10 of the third. And that slides back a semitone. Now what's interesting is I'm doing a slide from 10 to 9 and then a hammer-on pull-off from 10 to 9. So it's the same notes twice, but we're just kind of voicing them a little bit differently. So I'm going 10 of the second, 10, 9, 10, 9 with those different techniques on the third. From that point, I've got almost sort of another like mini economy pick sweep thing here, going from 10 of the fourth to 10 of the fifth. This time though, I am alternating fingers. Now when I've gone to the fifth string, I'm going to slide back to 8 at the end of that. It's going to sound like this. At the end of that, I'm going to slide from 10 to 12 on the fifth string. So let's go from this whole idea from the flat finger roll on the 10th fret of the second string. Hopefully that's making sense. Let's go right back to the start. We'll put everything we've got thus far together, and then we'll add the last chunk to it. Okay, then we're working to this. So I'm going from 10-9 on the third, then a pull off from 10 to 9, and then a big delicious bend from 10th fret. So I'm taking my time to get that whole step up and then adding some vibrato at the top. I'm not going to like a Zach Wild level of wobbliness, but you can add a little bit of, I guess, Steel Panther sleaze to it if you want. Just keep it a little bit sleazy, why not? So all together of the most recent chunk. Okay, then from there I work into this sort of major and minor sixth string skip idea. If you want to, you can do sort of string skip picking, or you can do a cheeky hybrid. It is completely up to you. I'm doing a quick slide from 12 to 14 on the fourth, jumping to 13 of the second. Now this one, there's a bit more of a note value between those positions. With that one, I kind of get through the 12 quite quickly. I feel like the others have a little bit more value to them. It's almost a grace note here. Anyway, what I was going for here was 14 to 15 on the fourth string, and then the string skip to 15 of the second. And I've got 15 to 17 on the fourth string, and 17 of the second. So all together. At that point, you will notice that I switch positions. Even though I was just on that 17 with my ring finger from that cheeky hybrid pick, the reason why I do that, because trying to get from 17 to 19 to begin the third section, when I get to those minor 7 sweeps, is going to be hell. So if I've got that semitone bend on 17 of the second string that I'll be executing with my pointer, and then that will get us ready for the last section. Yeah, we'll deal with that in a jiffy. So let's go right back to the start of the section, play it again at a gentleman's pace, and then we'll do it again even slower with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Alright guys, last section, we're going to start off with, we've just come from that cheeky bend from 17 of the second string, and I'm playing 19 of the third to begin this section. I want to land on that with the ring finger so that I can do that minor 7th sweep. So if I was in standard tuning, this would be a D minor 7. I'm playing 19 of the third, 18 of the second, 17 of the first. So just raking through that, and then going to 20 of the first string. And then I want to pull that off. So I've got the bend there and pulling off back to the 17. So we've got, at the end of that, what's interesting is I'm working up in a D minor 7, but I reverse in kind of somewhat of an F major. So I've got, so when I've done that pull off there, I'm climbing up almost that sort of D major shape there. I'm playing 17 of the first, 18 of the second, and 17 of the third. So we've got this much from the start, a little bit slower. Going to finish on the 19 again. And then that bend's going to happen again. This is what we should have thus far. We'll play it a little bit slower. At the end of that, when I bring the 20 bend down the second time, it does a pull off from 18 to 17 when I get to the bottom. At the end of that, I've got a bend from 18 of the first string. It's a full step. I'm going to hit it 2 more times, then jump to 20. At the end of that, I like to kind of have that reverse slide in. It adds a nice entry to the 13. So I'm playing 13, 15, 17. And then there's a quick jump to 18 back to 17. So to go. And that's the end of the solo. So let's take it from the start. This isn't a particularly long section. It's only 4 bars, but just concentrating on getting those sweeps. I thought it would be nice to just concentrate on those for one section. So this is what we should have. We'll do it slowly, and then we'll do it again even slower, some tabs. One more time with some tabs. And that was the main solo of Avenged Sevenfold's Victim. Hope you guys enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. And if you want to have this lesson and anything else happening in the future, please sign up to the mailing list. All subscribers get a subscriber email and an ability to download a tab of PDF and Guitar Pro 7 if you're into that. Also have a bunch of books out through the Fundamental Changes website and Amazon. And I have a bunch of video courses available on Udemy and chriszoupa.com if you're also keen on those. Anyway, hope you guys dug the lesson. There will be more content coming soon. Take care.